Hello everybody and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope we're doing well, and today we're going to be talking about the long-range box office forecasting for Top Gun Maverick, or Top Gun 2, which, as many of you know if you've been following the channel for a while, has been my most anticipated movie of the year for what seems like 3 years now. I remember making my most anticipated movie of the year list, and every time it got pushed back into a new year, I always ended that new year with saying, hey, here's my most anticipated films of the following year, and guess what? Top Gun Maverick is at the top of the list because I really like the director who is attached to the film. He's made some really, really well done films. And also, of course, the fact that there are cameras inside of actual fighter jets and the actors inside of those actual fighter jets is just an incredible concept. And the trailer already has me just so hyped for it because, let's just say, the cinematography looks beautiful. But before going any further into these numbers and also what the projected budget for this film is and what that means for the prospects of the film going forward, please make sure you smash that like button, light up that fire button if you're watching over on Odyssey, and also make sure that you are subscribed to the channel with that bell notification turned on. That way you know every time a video or live stream goes live on the channel. Always hard to get through that part of it. But let's first start off with some updates. So Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness, which is expected to come out next week, currently has not had any change in its numbers. It's projected to have an opening weekend of around $200 million domestically, and they expect the long range for that to be between $450 and $560 million, meaning this film very well is on pace to potentially be the next billion-dollar film. It would be second to that of Spider-Man No Way Home. Doubt this film will get anywhere close to the Spider-Man No Way Home's $1.9 billion number, but it is definitely expected to be the most successful Disney Marvel film in a couple of years. As we all know, all of the films that came out in the previous years, especially last year, really didn't do all that well, the most successful of which was the release of Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings, which made about $30 million or so in net gain profit, which, though that's profitable, is definitely nowhere near the amount of money that a Disney film or a Marvel film would hope to get. It looks like this film will be able to kind of capture and bounce off of the success of Spider-Man No Way Home in some capacity, and could be an indication of the strength of the MCU, the strength of the normie audience going out to continue to support these types of films. So it'll be interesting, to say the very least, to follow this film's release, whether or not Disney makes another deal with the devil and works with the Chinese Communist Party in China, or whether or not this film is any good. We do have some updates, though, with Firestarter, which is not looking very good, actually. A 25% drop in the projections for its opening weekend. This is the week after Doctor Strange. I assume it's probably because they are looking at just how well Doctor Strange is going to do. They're assuming it's going to have a very strong second weekend, and that means Firestarter and other films like it are not going to be able to, really any of other films that are going up against it aren't going to have a lot of room to make that much money. And so $6 to $11 million is now the projected opening weekend, with the total domestic being somewhere between $12 and $28 million. I can't imagine that film cost a lot of money, and so that still doesn't look too bad for the film's prospects. But again, 30% drop overall, 25% drop in the opening weekend is still a pretty massive number. No changes for Downton Abbey: A New Era. Yes, you see that film mentioned from A24 Men. This is new Andrew Garland, Alex Garland film. He was the one that did Annihilation, which I really did not like, with Natalie Portman. Just was way too weird, way too bizarre, and just put me to sleep. But he also did the amazing Ex Machina, which I thought was fantastic. This film, I was excited about watching the trailer. Like, when the trailer was going on, I had not heard of this film before, and so I was looking at what was going on screen and saying, oh, this actually looks interesting, and then all of a sudden the title came up, and it was just Men, and I was thinking to myself, oh boy, I'm wondering what the commentary of this film is going to be, or if that is meant to be something else. There is the use of, like, and again, if you've seen the trailer, you know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of this tone of awe. So I don't know if it's supposed to be like an amen type of thing. So I don't know if that's the connection with the title, or if it's just going to be a title by the very fact that all of the really bad people in the film are actually, or perceived to be, men in this woman's life. So yeah, trailer was interesting. However, the title, and then when you have the title in the retrospect with everything that happens in the trailer, all you're left with is, oh boy, what kind of messaging are you going to be trying to push in this film? Bob's Burgers, which I've never been a fan of. I just never have gotten into it. I've seen the commercials for it and clips from it, and now I've seen the trailer several times as well. Just doesn't seem like my kind of comedy. I do like the people that do the voice acting for it, though, especially the guy that does the main voice. Because he's been in things like Wet Hot American Summer and things like that. But overall, I just have no interest. But opening weekend is expected to be around $7 to $12 million, with $14 to $30 million in its total range as far as its total domestic number. It is now, because it's 20th Century Studios, it's therefore acquired by Disney, so it is going to be a Disney flick. Again, can't imagine the budget for that film is all that high. Which leads us to my most anticipated film of the year still to this day, and that is Top Gun Maverick. So it's expected to have an opening weekend of $95 to $130 million. So probably going to be a north of $100 million domestic opening weekend, with a total domestic of between $255 and $380 million. This is a very good sign for this film early on, because we do have a projected budget for the film, which is expected to be around $152 million. This is according to Film and Television Tax Credit Program. So again, this is from an official report. However, that original one was retrieved back in 2017. And so, yeah, basically, this is a very outdated number. So I would not be surprised if, because of inflation and because of reshoots and delays, if that production budget, or at the very least, if the marketing campaign for the film costs a lot more. And so its break-even number, which right now, as it stands with the number being projected of around $380 million. So again, break-even points typically 2.5 times the production budget. So the film's $380 million could actually be probably north of $480 million of what it would need to make its money back, which, if you look at it, is actually in a pretty good place, because if it's able to hold to even just the average of this number, let's say it's able to get to around $350 million or so domestically, and is able to match that internationally, that would put this film around $700 million, which would put it well past any doubt of the film's profitability. And so I'm quite excited for the film. I hope the film is good. Obviously, if the film is not good, I will be the first to let y'all know, but it does have a lot of things going for it. As I mentioned before, first off is the director, Joseph Kosinski. He has just done a lot of really great work. For those that maybe don't know him, he is the one that did Tron Legacy, which was his directorial debut. And even though I wasn't a big fan of Tron Legacy, because I'm just not that big into the Tron the Tron I was gonna say the Tron Legacy, but I'm not really into the Tron universe all that much. I did love Oblivion. I thought Oblivion was fantastic. He wrote his own graphic novel and then directed, wrote, produced a film based off of it, and I thought it was fantastic. Specifically the visual effects. I think it has probably the most underrated visual effects of all time, and I think it's probably the best use of visual effects, to be perfectly honest, in a very, very long time. That was back in 2013. He also did a great film called Only the Brave, which was also very solid. No real visual effects in that film. Very, very solid film about people firing. The Granite Mountain hotshots. So it's a very powerful, moving story. And so just having him attached to this film makes me incredibly excited. But then you also have other people who are attached to it, like Claudio Miranda for cinematography. He's done things like Life of Pi, and so even if you're not a fan of Life of Pi, that film is definitely beautifully shot, to say the very least. It's also got a great cast with, Tom Cruise, Miles Teller. I know that everyone's a Tom Cruise fan, but you also have Miles Teller, who I'm personally a pretty big fan of. Jennifer Connelly is in the film. John Hamm is in the film. Ed Harris comes into the film as well, and Val Kilmer. Again, Val Kilmer in the film. After seeing his documentary, especially, I'm excited by that. What I do find interesting is that there is a plethora of people who are doing the music for it. So you have Hans Hugo Harold Faltermeyer. Lady Gaga is doing some of the music for it as well, and then Hans Zimmer. So again, a very mixed group of people there to do this film, and I'm just really excited for it. I think the visual effects look beautiful. The fact that they're getting somehow these IMAX quality cameras into these jets, or some type of wizardry into these jets, and also, of course, having the actors have to actually be in the jets. They're not flying the jets, but to have them in the cockpit, experiencing the G-forces and all that stuff. I'm just excited just to see this film from a visual perspective. And I know that some people have some worries and concerns about the film, because if you pay attention to the jacket that is worn by Maverick, there used to be a Taiwan patch which has been taken off, and many people have said that was to appease a Chinese market. However, the only issue with that is that as of the recording of this video, there is no actual China release scheduled. There's also no, at least according to this list, Taiwan release scheduled. But what I found was very interesting was that they also typically have these films in other languages, like what they're known by and known as in other countries. And what I found interesting by this was that there is no Chinese version of this film. There's no Chinese translation or Chinese title for the film. However, even though there's not a release, there is a Taiwan title for this movie. So again, What does that mean? Does that mean anything in the long run? I honestly cannot say. But all I know is that there is no China release as of the recording of this video. There's no Taiwan release as of the recording of this video, at least not according to IMDb. But there is a title provided for the Taiwan and Taiwanese market. So even though that patch has been taken out, this to me says a little bit more about what this film is going to be, that this film's probably not going to try and bow to the whims. I know, River, I know, it's crazy, right? She's still very upset by them taking off that patch, apparently, but I do think it's interesting nonetheless, because I know that was a concern that some people had, but what are y'all's thoughts about it? If you're one of those persons that had that concern because of the patch missing that the emblem of Taiwan, does this maybe bring some confidence back to you? And also, maybe do you have any other insights about this? You know, let me know in the comment section down below. But also, what about these numbers? Do you think that Top Gun Maverick is going to be a huge massive success? I think that it has the chance to be a massive success. The trailers have been all, I think, very, very good. I think they've done just the right thing to set the tone, to be able to get people pumped and excited for it. I think that this film has that potential to do better than what some people project it to do, and I hope it's successful, especially if it's good, right? If this film is really good and I'm able to enjoy it as a film and not just from the trailer, then obviously I will sing its praises, because I always say, if there's a film I really like, you know, I will praise the film and try and push people to go see it, because again, that's something that I think is important for us to go support good films. But you know, jury's still out on this one. Apparently, early reviews for this film are not just good, but they're raving. Some people even saying it's the best movie of the year. Now, I can't say that's all that surprising, because this film was set to come out several years, you know, for the past several years, and they clearly put a lot of money into this project, put a lot of time to this project, and again, just I think people are going to be blown away by those visuals. I'm already blown away every time I see the trailer for it. But what are y'all's thoughts about this or any of the other films I talked about? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you like this video, smash that like button, not that fire button. Honestly, y'all are all amazing and beautiful people. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, blessed Friday, and blessed weekend. And as always, God bless. And now for a huge shout out to all of my April Patreon, Subscribestar, and Locals members. Starting off with Patreon with Animation Commentator, Brandon, let's go Brandon, Brian P., Christopher Bowman, Father Christopher Miller, Hail to you, Father, Father Damian Cook, Garrett Searles, Harold Francis, Hymir Ari Hymeson, Inflamed Wood, Jacob from Holland, Jeff Toon, Joe Horn, Jonathan Carney, Gomer Kyle 79, Laura, the Modern Major General Story, Mike Jackson, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mondo Spieler, Mr. Peabody, On to June, Orange Hat Reviews, Priscilla Hall, Rosella Allen, Stan Andrian, Miss Martin Muses, Theodore Bendon, Tina Bojan, and Tina B., the Empress of the Universe. Thank you very much for supporting me over on Patreon. And also to my Subscribestar peeps, Matt317, Storm Tracker, The R, Fast Reaction, Nosferatu Gatsu, Stand 4, John B., Mr. Roy, Glinzer, J. Alice McCarthy Jr., Dean Heiss, J-Rod the Beer Guru, and ZK-Man. And also a huge shout out to my Locals members, starting off with Kara Tharp, K Tharp 56. Also, UAB, Mad Dog, Mike Jackson, Robert Barnes, and also a huge support as well to Brett D90. Thank you very much for supporting me over on Locals. And I want to add a shout out for my newest Patreon member, One-Eyed Jack. Thank you again to everyone for supporting the channel. Please, if you want your name shouted out at the end of every live stream and video, go ahead and check out the top link at the video description. It is my Willow link, as I like to describe it, and it brings you to a link tree where you get access to all of these different locations, as well as all of the various social media platforms that you can follow me on. If you join at the Citizen of Asgard level, you get your name shouted out at the end of every single live stream and video. Army of Asgard level gets you that, plus you get access to a giveaways channel that I have on Discord. If you ever don't have access to that giveaways channel, please contact me. I do send out the link to the Discord and with the instructions on it at the beginning of every single month. But if you don't have access to that giveaways channel where I'm giving away 4Ks and Blu-rays and all that kind of stuff, as much as I possibly can give away is available there. Please just reach out to me and I will gladly walk you through the process to make sure you get access to that giveaways channel. And again, that is, Army of Asgard level, whether you be on Patreon, Subscribestar, or on Locals. Also, if you are the keeper of the Bifrost level, you get access to all of that. Plus, you get access to a podcast that I do with John the Flick Pick Flickinger. We try and do it once or twice a month. I think we're going to try and do it twice this month to make up for some miscommunication that we had last month. So be on the lookout for that, and look out for those podcast Q&A posts that are always available on the Patreon main page, the Subscribestar main page, on the YouTube side of things as well. The YouTube community tab, you'll always find the podcast Q&A there, and also on the Locals page as well. And if you join at the Chosen of Valhalla level, the highest of the levels, you get access to all of that. Plus, if it's your first month, you get a free t-shirt, any t-shirt you want from my Teespring, my TeePublic, whichever one you want to get it from. You just let me know the size, location I'm sending it to, color, that kind of stuff. You get it sent to you. Plus, you get to be featured once a month on the Chosen of Valhalla live stream, where we all come together and just talk about movies and really anything the Chosen want to talk about, and it is a lot of fun. Anyway, thank you all very much for your love and for your support. You guys are all amazing and beautiful people. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, God bless.